The greatest axe throwers in the world have come to Tucson, Arizona for the World Axe Throwing League's 2019 World Championship spectacle. Over the past 24 hours, we've carved the competition down from 64 to the final 6. And now the best of the best are ready to duel in the desert. The winner gets 15 grand, a glimmering axe trophy, and international glory. So get ready. The culminating showcase at the World Axe Throwing Championship is next. From the Splitting Timber Axe Range in Tucson, Arizona, we welcome you to the World Axe Throwing Championship presented by Signarama. This event has been building to its culmination, and we welcome you again, Evan Leffler with Evan Walters. He's the commissioner of the World Axe Throwing League. If you've never seen axe throwing before, prepare to be astonished. Evan, this is the Super Bowl for this sport.
That's right. 12,000 competitors over this entire year have been coming to this location here in Tucson, Arizona to narrow it down to the top 64 and today the top 6.
Let's talk about how this sport has exploded exponentially over the past couple of years from where you began in 2017 to where we are right now.
Back in 2017, we had about 15 companies in 4 countries. And since then, we've exploded into about 19 different countries around the world, over 250 axe throwing locations, all coming together to celebrate this amazing sport.
The level of excellence has grown and grown, and these players today probably aren't going to miss too often. For more on the layout of the competition that you're going to see culminate over the next couple of hours, we welcome in the third member of our broadcast crew, Melanie Newman.
Thanks, guys. Well, you touched on those top 6 that are finally going to make it to today. There's splits across the board. 3 Canadians, 3 Americans, 3 wild card participants, and 3 who have earned their spot to be here today. But they all come for the camaraderie, that sense of community that the axe throwing really just brings into here. And today you're going to see that split in the very first set between Nick Portuondo and Sam Carter. They're both from the Carolina hub. And for Sam, he said, that's been my goal, is to grow it to really rival that Philly hub that's been so important to the World Axe Throwing League, but they just can't believe that they're having to face the 2 of closest friends to start things off, guys.
Yeah, Melanie, there have been some shockers throughout the competition, which brings us to this North Carolina duo competing. Let's review the point system, Evan. What do we need to know?
As you can see, the outer layers go into 1 to 4 points, ending with the red dot with 6 points total. 8 points for the kill shots are available on the 5th and 10th throws only, and they must be called.
Let's meet the competitors, shall we?
Hey, my name's Sam Carter. I'm 29. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I throw axes for a living. I work at a venue, and I manage one. I guess my favorite moment so far would have to be the first time I was on ESPN. It was just a crazy moment. My first time being in a waddle tournament, did really well. Thankfully, I'm here now. Hopefully, I can continue going on for the rest of the time.
I'm Nicholas Portuondo. I'm 29, out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm unaffiliated, and when I'm not throwing axes, I still like to be adventurous and go scuba diving. I got started out throwing axes in Charlotte when a place opened up, joined one day, and I've been hooked since. Walking into my first competition, it was crazy intense to watch everyone just be so perfect on every throw.
These 2 competitors born just a couple of months apart, and they begin our competition today.
Shots are now live.
Portuondo and Carter, both are 4-0 so far in this double elimination bracket. Both begin with a bullseye.
We're going to see a lot of those bullseyes today with the top throwers out of 12,000 all year round. There's going to be a lot of bullseyes and a lot of kill shots.
Each competition is best of 3 matches.
4, 6.
And Portuondo with an early hiccup, missed the bullseye, gets the 4. You can only go for the kills, Evan, on the 5th and 10th shots of each match.
Those kill shots are optional on the 5th and 10th throw, but most of the time these guys are probably going to have to go for them if they're going to want to compete and get all the way to the end of this tournament.
This is throw number 4.
Been interesting chatting with these competitors. Carter and Portuondo both with bullseyes there. No one really came into this competition, I think, with expectations of winning it all, because they had such respect for their opponents.
No kill shots are called.
The common refrain from everyone was, I just don't want to go 0-2 and get eliminated immediately. Obviously, these players have done much better than 0-2 to be on this stage today.
Switch sides.
So far, both of these players are undefeated this tournament, but by the end of this round of 3 matches, one will be.
The one error from Portuondo. Switch sides after 5 throws. Portuondo a little high.
4, 6.
And that's a miss from Carter. If any part of the axe is in that red, it's a bullseye. But the black ring around the red does not count. It needs to be on the red for it to be a bull.
It does have to break on both sides of the axe, and that red bullseye be visible on both sides of that blade. If they're not visible on both sides, then yes, it will count for 4 points only.
Those players dial back in there. Of course, Ben McDonald has become a meme of himself, the head judge of the World Axe Throwing League. Neither was perfect there, but both players register bullseyes. We're tied, and both players point up to signal that they will go for the kill.
Now, just as a reference, if they miss this kill shot, that is 0 points.
Carter hits it. Portuondo looked like he got it too. Both are good, which means we go to sudden death in this opening match. Evan, the rules for sudden death are what?
As Ben McDonald said, they must go for the kill shot now. Whoever misses is going to be the one that loses. And it looks like it might be Portuondo.
Carter hit it. And Carter takes the opening match in this best-of-3 battle.
One practice. We're taking practice.
Each player will take one practice throw in between matches. And it's interesting, Evan, because I think these players love to say, hey, I'm just throwing axes. I'm just doing what I've done throughout my training, throughout my practice, throughout the competition. It's different when the bright lights are on and everybody else who competed in the competition is here watching. I don't care what the competitors say. There's a different level of pressure right now.
Absolutely. With everybody who's been in this tournament all weekend has been telling me, you know, almost every single of the 64 competitors here are all at about the exact same skill level, but skill only takes you halfway. The other half is that mind game and getting out of your own head and just kind of getting in that relaxation zone. If they can't do that, they're not going to succeed.
6. Throw number 4.
So far, so good here in the second match of this best-of-3 battle. Carter up 1-0. There's a significant advantage, Evan, obviously, to stay in the A bracket.
Still tied, shot number 5. Kill shots are live.
Competitors in the A bracket, and then 2 competitors who have lost once but battled their way to face some of the losers of these first couple A bracket matches here on TV.
And then the final 2 competitors will be the finalists from the B bracket and the finalists from the A bracket. But the B bracket winner will have to beat that A bracket person twice. So the advantage is absolutely for the A bracket.
We did see the winner come out of the B bracket at the U.S. Open in Iowa in August. The legendary Mike Kump came out of the B bracket to beat Sam Carter.
He did. Sam Carter,
the runner-up at the U.S. Open.
This is Carter's second time on ESPN. As you said, he got the runner-up position for the U.S. Open this past year, and I highly doubt we're going to see the last of him after today.
Sam Carter, a couple weeks after that U.S. Open, went to another axe throwing tournament in Hickory, North Carolina.
We're still
over an hour away from his hometown in Winston-Salem. And it just so happened that the rebroadcast of the U.S. Open came on ESPN, so he was competing in a competition while also watching himself on a competition. Interestingly, he says he doesn't like to watch it because the end result is he loses. So he wants to change that result today. 10th shot, kill shots.
Looks like there might be 2 misses.
No kill shots.
So we're still tied, which means we go to sudden death again. If each hits the kill shot, then they go again and have to go for the opposite blue dot. If they each miss it, it's a matter of who's furthest away. Carter hit it, Portuondo missed it, and it's Carter, just by that smidge, that will be moving on in the A bracket. This guy has been unbelievable since emerging on the big stage, and hey, we'll see Nick Portuondo a little bit later on. Sam Carter superior in the Battle of North Carolinians to get us started here at the World Axe Throwing Championship. We've got much more axe throwing ahead here from Tucson. Stick around. A look at the winner's bracket, the A bracket. This is where you want to be. Sam Carter moving on, and we're getting set for Nick Kolomyja and David Saikon. Let's meet these two competitors, beginning with the pride of Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, Nick Kolomyja.
Hi, my name's Nick Calamia from Airdrie, Alberta, Canada. We throw out of Rival Axe Throwing, and I'm 40 years old. I'm a journeyman welder, and I'm hooked into axe throwing. Well, being from Canada, if we won, I'm taking the family on a nice vacation somewhere where it's really warm and no snow.
My name's David Saikon. I'm 29 years old from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And when I'm not axe throwing, I like to do photography and study positive psychology and mindfulness. There's really only one top favorite moment, and that has to be winning the Canadian Open earlier this year. Not just because it was my own major axe tournament win, but it also got to be against someone who I consider one of my best friends.
We talk so much about the camaraderie in this sport. Would you believe that Nick Kolomyja actually taught David Saikon a little line dancing earlier this season? So that's the friendship that these two have made, and now they go head-to-head on this stage. Evan Walters, the commissioner of the World Axe Throwing League. What does it mean to you to see that camaraderie between the competitors?
That's what we're all about, you know. That's why we do it. It's because of those competitors and it's because of the love that they show for each other. Even if there's money on the line, even if there's a title on the line, doesn't matter. It all ends in hugs. It all ends in tapping axes, and everyone's just having a good time.
It was not the easiest run to this stage of the tournament for Nick Kolomyja. He went to 3 matches in both the first and second round of the A bracket, narrowly prevailing, one in straights in his third and fourth. So his goal, like a lot of other players, was just don't go 0-2. He nearly did, but yet here he is.
Yep, he's still going strong. Nick
Nick
Kolomyja also was the runner-up for our throwdown tournament in Colorado Springs this year. So he has definitely proven his worth before.
Came in second place to the enigmatic Mike Kump, who won the U.S. Open and that throwdown tournament.
Still tied.
One of the biggest surprises of the singles competition is that Mike Kump is not on the stage. He was eliminated. Lost in the second round of the A bracket, battled late into the B bracket, but is no longer here. Unfortunately, as much as the axe community tries to deprive everyone of Mike Kump, he made it here in Duels, and we'll see him later today in that competition, which you'll want to stick around for. 4 axes all getting thrown at the same time to 2 targets.
That's right, a little bit later. It's one of our new competitions with Duels, and we're happy we get to see Kump back on screen.
0-8.
So Saikon missed the kill shot, and Kolomyja connects. Saikon wants a second opinion, but is not going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Judging harsh but fair.
Kolomyja has a significant lead entering the 6th throw of this first match. Remember, best of 3. We saw David Saikon experience the great glory in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The Canadian Open was televised by ESPN back in March.
And he was also at the World Championship last year, the runner-up for 2018. Narrowly missed that title to Benjamin Edgington. But he's been pretty consistent in almost every single tournament, making top scores. I think with the exception of the U.S. Open, he's been pretty much in the top 6 each time.
You'd think that consistent success would breed confidence, but that's not necessarily the case. He told me that he came in terrified about this event, and that everyone knew this would be the toughest competition ever, not just because of the level of the throwers, but saying it's going to come down to kill shots. You can never be truly confident. Kolomyja doesn't need to go for the kill here, but he's going to go for it.
That's some of that camaraderie we talked about, you know, that just seeing kind of some good sportsmanship and going for it anyway.
perfect game for Nick Kolomyja on the grandest stage to begin this critical match against David Saikon.
One practice.
He could have just gone for the bullseye and won the match that way, but he did not want to leave Saikon hanging.
Exactly. You know, it's the camaraderie of throwing together and dancing together.
Nick Calamia has made it a family experience, this sport. His wife, Kendra, one of the top female throwers in the entire world. She was in this competition.
She is the top female thrower in the entire world right now. Highest on our leaderboards, and she also made it farther than any other female in this tournament just yesterday.
Bullseyes to begin the second match of this best-of-3 showdown. Calamia and his wife Kendra, parents of 2. Corbin is 9. Octavia is 6. They're back home in Greater Calgary, presumably watching excitedly.
6, 4.
Hopefully cheering Dad on.
A 4 that time.
Nick is up by 2.
Saikon,
3.
a little erratic, and he may have missed that one again.
It looks like his throw is just a little low. If you notice his throws, they typically connect on an
6,
angle a little bit.
4.
But even still, that one was pretty much flush with the boards, and it was still just a little too low for that
4
bullseye.
points now separating us.
These
Throw number
throwers
4.
miss so rarely. And sometimes when you see him miss once, it can be the precursor to future misses because it throws off the entire equilibrium to miss one time.
Again, it's all about that headspace, you know? It's 50% skill, 50% clear mind.
Kill shots called.
You can kind of tell that
Saikon.
Saikon's feeling a little bit.
Saikon went for the kill, and he thinks he got it. And he did. So that gets 2 points back. Still trailing by 2 as we take the turn.
The match is still within his reach, but it's going to be a hard-fought battle.
Don't forget the 8th, though. Saikon may have missed the bullseye there.
6.
Nope, he got it.
All it's going to take to tie up this game is if Nick just goes right outside of that bullseye.
Calamia was quoted in the local Airdrie, Alberta newspaper before the tournament saying,
6.
going into this stage, it's time to turn it on and prove it.
We have 3
Am I at
shots
that
left.
level?
2 points are
I see some of these
separating
people who don't miss ever. And then some people come up to me and say, you don't miss ever. Except for me, it's a big proving ground thing to show he belongs at this level of the competition.
Throw
I think
number
so
9.
far, it's obvious he does.
Nick's still up by 2.
Absolutely. With that first perfect game of today's broadcast, it's obviously proving it.
Calamia has been flawless.
Final throw.
Whenever this
Kill
moves
shots
on
are
to
live.
face
Nick,
Sam
you're up 2
Partw in
points.
the finals of the A bracket. But it is a double elimination tournament, so
Kill shots are called.
loser of this match is not done.
Kolomyja decided not to call a kill shot. If Saikon gets this, it should tie it up.
Needs the blue dot.
Ooh, it's close.
Angling his body, takes a closer look. He thinks he's got it. And we are tied.
You're going into sudden death.
And the popular chant. If both players miss the blue dot, it comes down to who's closer or who sucks less.
It looks like
They both hit it, they'll do it again. Saikon got it. Calamia missed it, which means we're going the distance. 1-1 and 10 more throws to go.
No practice.
No practice throw. They are just going right in. They've got the steam, and they're just keeping the train rolling.
See, Saikon has a different intensity to his eyes right now.
Oh, absolutely. That victory kind of reignited that fire in him, I think.
Well, you could tell he was flustered.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had a couple of shots go awry, which so rarely happens. We talk about his consistency from event to event, month to month, year to year.
All it takes is about building that confidence back up. If they can get right back to their normal you know, their normal
Shot number 3. We're
comfort
still tied.
level, then typically they're good to go. But again, high stakes, high reward here.
6-6.
Saikon is an aspiring judge.
Still tied
as, well,
as we go to throw number
signaling
4.
his own score after each throw.
Part of me wonders if he's just trying to convince the judge or trying to convince himself.
Knowing that it's probably going to come down to the blue dots, I asked David Saikon how he prepares for that sort of thing. They're going for the kills on the 5th.
Not a
8
pop.
points or no points.
That's right.
The crowd erupts because both players got it.
The crowd wants to see those perfect tie games, and we might just see it.
We're tied at 32.
Saikon told me that when he practices, he breaks the game down into 5 throw segments. Alternating, going for the bullseye and the kill, and then the bullseye and the kill.
We're tied at 38.
It's a very popular practice technique, kind of doing what we like to call the flying V. Kill shot on the left, bullseye in the middle, kill shot on the right, and back and forth, just to get that repetition down. See a lot of people who build targets at home, they don't even put the rings around. They just want to practice those bullseyes and kill shots.
I need the rings, Evan, but the great players don't need them. I take pride in 2s and 3s and 4s.
A little bit of practice, we'll see you up here soon.
4-6.
Soon is a relative term, isn't it?
Throw
Mistake
number
from
9.
Calamia.
Saikon's up 2.
Just missing by a smidge. The players take an extra look. Saikon has upped his theatrics game without his buddy Mike Kump on this stage, don't you think?
Someone's got to take the reins, right?
Kill shots are called for both players.
All right, 2 kills. Kolomyja down by 2, Saikon up by 2.
So there will not be sudden death. We'll have a winner or a loser after this shot. If Saikon hits it, he wins. It may have missed it, so Saikon doesn't really matter. But David Saikon, after losing the opening match, comes from behind and wins 2 in a row. And there's a little bit of that line dancing skill that Nick Calamia has taught him. You never know, we might see them later compete against one another yet again.
Cool.
So Saikon and Partw are the survivors in the A bracket. We'll head to that B bracket when we return to Tucson after this. We're back here in Tucson at the Splitting Timber Axe Range and a look at the final 4 of the B bracket. Some might call it the losers bracket. We're getting ready for Nick Portuondo against Straun Riley. These were 2 wild card qualifiers that are still alive here in the final 6 of this tournament. And here's what we're competing for. $15,000. That is a record cash prize to the winner, Evan.
Yes, indeed. Sounds like a lot of vacations planned, a lot of probably Christmas presents and things like that for all the winners. But even second place, $3,000. Nothing to scoff at.
Significant funds for the final 4, but especially for the winner. You're looking at Straun Riley. Let's hear from him right now.
Hi, I'm Straun Riley, 28-year-old axe thrower, born and raised in Toronto, now living in Scottsdale, running Battle Scottsdale. My favorite moment axe throwing would have to be the 2018 NATC Championship, where I ended up winning it at a B bracket. What's going through my head when I'm throwing the axe is just one axe at a time.
He also mentioned that he's thinking, just don't miss. Those are the 3 words that are going through his mind. He was nearly knocked out earlier in the tournament. He said that the founder of the World Axe Throwing League, Mario Zelaya, had a kill shot that would have eliminated him. But Mario missed it by a smidge that kept it alive. He went on to win. And now we're seeing Riley and Portuondo What have been your impressions of these two throwers throughout the weekend?
Honestly, they've literally fought from the very bottom this entire weekend. For those who don't know, our wildcard competition is just to fill in any final remaining spots into the World Championship. It's a very last-ditch effort for all the top throwers who may not have an affiliated venue near them or any sort of axe throwing, but have the skills to compete. With the World Axe Throwing League trying to open up to all axe throwers all across the world. So we give them that chance to come in, fight from the very bottom, and come all the way to the top.
Evan, excuse me, a foot fault was just called on Nicholas Portuondo, so he gets no points for that throw. Riley got a 6 for the bullseye. What exactly does it mean when someone foot faults?
6.
Foot fault is when they go past. You can see some lines out in front.
Shot number 5. Kill shots called for Nicholas.
Right about 12 feet away from the boards is where your foot cannot go past. If it goes past that before the axe has left your hand, then you get 0 points as a foot fault.
Let's bring in Melanie.
Well, guys, it's interesting because Nick Portuondo had mentioned his issue with foot faults earlier. He's used to throwing from only 9 feet away, so having to back up that extra 3 feet, he said he had to completely change how he throws his axe, but that foot faults have been his weakness, having to take that extra 3 feet back.
4 shots left. 4 points separating us.
You see Portuondo just a little too close on that replay.
Six.
You can see in their technique that they like to lunge forward to give extra momentum and extra force to their axes when they throw. But again, with that lunge forward, the risk is the foot fault.
And obviously the rule that the axe has to go through one full rotation in the air.
Throw number 9.
The distance away from the target impacts the angle and the speed of that rotation.
Absolutely. Another thing that some throwers like to do is adjust the length of their handle, and it also depends on the length of your arm. The length of your arm, length of the handle can also determine how far away that rotation needs to be. A lot of throwers have started adjusting to not throwing through.
Portuondo got the kill, but he had been trailing by 4 points, so Straun Riley takes that opening match. The foot fault was the difference, quite frankly. Each player with one practice shot here, and then the second match. Straun Riley, as he told us, grew up in Toronto, moved to Scottsdale fairly recently. Says he grew up on a golf course, and he thinks that the mindset of golf has really positively impacted his ability as an axe thrower. In part because he takes the mindset
these shots count now.
You know, the best golfer in the world is not going to win every single tournament. It's whoever's on that particular weekend. He thinks there are certainly better players than others, but in any given game, any top thrower can beat anybody else.
It's very similar parallel to axe throwing, although some might not think so. It's all about that mind game and about that follow-through and the consistent swings of not the golf clubs, but the axes. That consistency is key in continuing on and getting to this level.
Couple bullseyes apiece for each thrower here in the second match. And we're in the B bracket, double elimination. Loser of this will not finish in the money.
Nope, they will be out for good. There's a lot on the line for both of them.
6. Bring the elevator up. Shot number 5. Kill shots are live. No kill shots called.
Playing it safe. No kill shots called on the 5th throw. Again, whoever loses this round is out for the tournament. So they're a little more hesitant. You can tell.
I think it's the right choice.
Absolutely. You know, at this point, it's an all or nothing thing. You want to play it as safe as possible. At the very least, you know, even if they're consistent all the way through this match, they know they're going to have to tie in the end and go for the kill shot, but why risk it early?
Just trying to keep a steady hand, a steady wrist, and block out all the nerves.
3 shots left.
Seems like they've pretty much gotten into the groove with 3 shots remaining, but that might be a little high.
Did it nick the red? The verdict.
6.
Yes! Portuondo bouncing back to the line.
At this stage, anything other than a bullseye could just mean the end of the entire competition for them. So a bounce of relief definitely warranted.
We're tied 54 all. Both players going for the kill. And in the 10th shot, it's not about close. It's about hitting it or not. And it looks like both got it. No, Riley missed it, which means we're going the distance again.
You could see that Riley's axe over-rotated and kind of went in at an angle, but that over-rotation is what cost him that kill shot. It went right underneath where he should have been.
Is that nerves? Is that going for a different spot on the target after going for the bullseye 9 shots in a row?
It might be. You know, he's been pretty consistent so far today, but even still, with the height of the kill shots as well, plus the distance and the lunge technique that these guys like to do, a combination of all those can easily add to a slight over-rotation, which is just a little too much.
All righty. Into the third and final match. These players competing to stay alive.
Throw number 2.
In the race for $15,000.
You can see a slight difference in their throwing technique and in their axes as well. Portuondo's axe is a flat blade all the way through, and every time he hits pretty much flat on the board, maximizing the amount of space he takes up, which is to his advantage. Riley's been throwing at an angle, which allows the axe to get in much more solidly and easily, but there's less space on the board it's taking up, so it could put him at a disadvantage, although he, probably in his opinion, would get more consistent sticks in the wood.
That's a great point that you just made. We do see different techniques. We see different axe types, both in terms of the handle and the head of the axe.
No kill shots called.
Both players staying on the bullseye. They could have gone for the kill, shot 5.
I think Riley at this point might be a little afraid of those kill shots. I would be.
We're tied at 30, switch sides.
But that's why I'm here, not up there.
I asked Nick Portuondo before the event, what has clicked for you to get to the final 4, final 6? And he said, look, I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
Number 7.
Just an axe and a prayer.
If you're watching and want to try this out, you don't even need your own axe.
3 throws left. We're still
to go
tied.
to worldaxethrowingleague.com and find a World Axe Throwing League range near you.
That's right. We have an interactive map on the worldaxethrowingleague.com, as well as a search menu for you can search your town, your zip code, anywhere. It will tell you all the closest axe venues near you. We have
Throw number 9.
250 locations in 19 countries. Plenty of axe throwing to go around.
Heard about any new countries that are coming on board soon?
Absolutely. We're about to announce our 20th country here in a few weeks. We have a representative from Germany here who's opening up the first venue out there. So
that seems like a good country for axe throwing.
Oh, absolutely. It's about time.
6. Final throw.
Alrighty, perfection thus far. And now the kill shots are live. Riley. So close. Portuondo was high. Did Riley get it? He had a fist pump, and he did. Riley stays alive.
Just barely. You could see him sweating, but he's made it.
Both players sweating it out. Just that very left edge of the blue dot. Straun Riley in the competition, still with Melanie Newman. Take it away, Melanie.
So, Straun, we can tell this is the first time that you've gotten to advance to this level with the World Axe Throwing League. I mean, really, what's going through your head when you know that that elimination is so close?
It's just all gravy now. I had no expectations being here, so I love just competing with these guys and just throwing axes and having this crowd here. It's fun. It's fun. I got no expectations, so it's all good from here.
All right. Well, you made it look all good right there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Incredible stuff. He started throwing when he was 24 years old. Now he's 28. Straun Riley eliminates Nick Portuondo here at the World Axe Throwing Championship. More to come from Tucson. The World Axe Throwing League's Championship is presented by Elm City Axe Boards, providing premium cottonwood targets designed for axe throwing. Earlier in the weekend, the University of Arizona Marching Band was providing us with a little tunage. They are really talented.
That's absolutely right. The city of Tucson and the university welcomed us with open arms and amazing music with a parade through the area for all of our axe throwing competitors.
Love the live music. We just saw Straun Riley knock Nick
practice
Portuondo out of the tournament. Riley still alive, and Nick Kolomyja and Rander Marquez are getting ready to battle right now. We saw Kolomyja before, but now let's meet 24-year-old Rander Marquez.
Hi, I'm Rander Marquez. I'm 24 years old. I throw out of bad axe and I'm from Toronto, Ontario. If I'm not throwing axes, I'm usually playing video games or hanging out with my friends. If I were to win the prize money for this tournament, I would take my friends and my family out to dinner, have a good time, maybe try to get a house. If you have not thrown an axe yet and you're thinking about it, I highly suggest that you do because it's very addicting, it is very satisfying. It is one of the most things you can do, the most fun things you can do.
Rander Marquez, originally from the Philippines. He moved to Toronto when he was 6, moved back to the Philippines when he was 10, moved back to Toronto, and has been in Canada since he was 14. This is his first major tournament with the World Axe Throwing League. He told me that he hoped to come in 30th, and yet he's on fire in the final 6, trying to advance to the final 4.
That's right. He has fought against some pretty big powerhouses this weekend and taken every single one out. Being undefeated, his first major tournament, he has come a very long way in such a short time.
He had to battle his way through the B bracket to get here.
Ooh, looks like he's a little high on that, getting 4.
The nerves are real. The nerves are definitely real.
2 points separating us.
These two guys actually saw each other earlier in the tournament. Kolomyja got the best of Marquez. Rander said, look, Nick was throwing fire against me. And he said, I was underperforming
Throw number
a little
4,
bit.
Nick's up by 2.
He also said that that lit a fire under him, and he swept the next couple of matches to get to television.
6.
Including, he said, he beat the guy that beat Mike Kump, which was Manny Cole, who was the hometown hero superstar of the U.S. Open in Des Moines, Iowa. Manny Cole made a great run here. He knocked Mike Kump out, and then everybody thought, okay, Manny is here. No, Rander Marquez had other ideas. Now they're going for the kills.
Well, looks like Kolomyja may be a little high.
Kolomyja is high. Marquez gets 8. Kolomyja with 0. That changes the complexion dramatically.
It's going to be extremely hard for him to catch back up at this point. All he can really do is hope that Marquez has another fumble or 2. But he's ready for that top prize,
36
it
to
seems.
30.
Marquez, the youngest of the final 6, 24 years old.
6.
Kolomyja, the oldest of the final 6 at 40.
3 shots left.
It's a battle
Still
of the
6
ages.
points between us.
Looks like he's in good spirits. He's pretty happy with his point spread at this point. He's gotten into a good comfort zone.
Of course, a reminder that there is no age limit to the disparity.
Throw number 9.
We saw an 8-year-old
Rander's in the
competing
lead.
at the U.S. Open. There are several throwers in their 50s and 60s and 70s.
That's right. That's one of the great things about axe throwing is it's so accessible to people of all ages, races, creeds, sex, anything. As long as you have a strong arm, you can throw an axe.
Kill shots for Nick.
So Marquez up 6. If he just hits the bullseye, he wins. Kolomyja, though, going for the kill. They both did what they wanted to do, but it's Rander Marquez. Because Kolomyja went for the kill and missed it earlier, that cost him this opening match.
I don't think he's going to make that same mistake again.
Please, thank you.
One practice throw for each player.
Very polite in requesting that practice throw. It looks like he was just, Kolomyja was just below that kill shot again on the practice. We get a warning from head judge Ben.
Just wait a moment. Which one was it, my left or my right? You're backwards.
Marquez was consulting with head judge because he gave him a warning for foot fault. Luckily, it was on a practice, but he is watching for that. We've already seen it called once before, and I'm sure he'll do it again.
Is the head judge, Ben McDonald, remaining humble with the international notoriety he's received for his mannerisms and great ball making?
Well, yeah, I think so for the most part. I'm not sure that having a cardboard cutout of him at this tournament this year was quite good for keeping him humble, but he seems to be taking it in stride.
There you go. 6.
Asked Rander Marquez what sports he played growing up. He said the normal ones: basketball, volleyball, and table tennis. His high school had a varsity ping pong team.
Still tied. Throw number 4.
I feel like coming from the South here, myself in Virginia, I wouldn't quite say that ping pong was the normal sport in high school, but definitely one that was fun.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not trouncing
Absolutely.
table tennis at all. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
I wish my high school had a ping pong team.
I would have joined. I wish our high school had an axe throwing team.
Yeah. It'll happen
one day. But
0.
Kolomyja high on the kill shot again. He is knocked out.
They're halfway through this match. He's still got 5 throws left.
That's true. But just as the last match, he's going to take a lot to get back up to that point.
I think Rander Marquez thought it was over there. And he's trying to show it off by saying he just wanted a hug. You do see a lot of hugs out here. I'm wondering, is there any particular protocol with the hugs? Because a lot of the hugs occur while a guy is holding an axe. That's something I get nervous about. That you got to be careful.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we always have the best safety practices we can while maintaining bladed tools. But most of these guys are essentially professional throwers at this point, so they're fairly aware of where their axe is. They make sure to stick the axe out so it doesn't get involved in the hug.
6.
Get it, boys.
Bullseyes up
Throw number 9.
As we go to Melanie.
Well, guys, it's interesting because we were asking about that camaraderie earlier, and Kolomyja summed it up best. He said, I'm from Canada, but I like the CFL just as much as I like the NFL because at the end of the day, we all just like football. So it doesn't really matter where you come from. If you like throwing axes, we want to be here for each other and we want to celebrate each other. And it's almost funny because it's like they want the other person to win more than they want to win themselves sometimes.
Calamia comes up empty with the kill, and that will do it for his weekend. Rander Marquez moving on, and Calamia comes up short in what he might consider the Grey Cup of international axe throwing.
Rander Marquez one step closer to big money, as he says.
He's thinking about big money, and we go to Melanie with Big Money Marquez.
All right, so coming down to this match, Kolomyja is no one to really kind of shrug off. So what was going through your mind, especially when you know that you have to hit those kill shots?
Personally, I just like to think one axe at a time. Go as you're doing, see how your opponent's throwing. It's those little things that usually keep you alive in these tournaments.
When they were talking about the fact that you were one of the youngest and he's one of the oldest in that top 6, what does that say to this sport?
Oh, it just means that there's a lot of newcomers coming in, and I have super much respect for Nick. He's one of the top OGs that are still up on this level, so he's killing it.
Oh, you're killing it too, Rander. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, Melanie. We go to break. We started with 64. We're down to the final 4 at the World Axe Throwing Championships in Tucson, Arizona. Back at the World Axe Throwing Championship presented by Signarama, and a look at the winner's bracket with Carter and Saikon getting ready to battle for a big advantage. That winner of the A bracket gets a huge edge. In the loser's bracket, Straun, Riley, and Rander Marquez have survived and advanced. They're part of the final 4. If you're just joining us here in Tucson, Arizona at Splitting Timber Axe Range, Evan Walters, tell us about the scoring system.
From the outer rings into the center rings, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 points. The bullseye is only in the red at 6 points, and then at the very top corners, you have the blue dots, which are the kill shots. They are 8 points and available on the 5th and 10th throws, but they are an all or nothing shot. 8 points or 0 if you call it.
For rules and regulations, each battle is a best of 3. First place winner will get 15 grand, and each round is 10 throws. You see that blue dot worth 8 points. The rules have evolved even from March. Imagine they'll continue to evolve, but that's what we've got today. This 2019 World Championship, as they finish their practice tosses. What was the World Axe Throwing League a year ago in the World Championships in Chicago compared to where it is today?
And the level of competition has just skyrocketed. For those who tuned in last year with us in our first broadcasted World Championship, you might notice that those kill shots were about twice the size as they are now. And back then, these players had difficulty with them. David Saikon, who we're about to see, actually ended up losing that championship title because he missed a kill shot when they were twice as big. But all the competitors here have adapted and upgraded their throws, and kill shots are almost not that difficult for them anymore.
6, 4.
On the first throw of the match, Sam Carter with a head shaker.
Throw number 2. Saikon is up 2.
He erred just enough. It's the 4, and Saikon has the early 2-point lead through 2 throws.
It is going to be interesting to see David Saikon getting runner-up as the world champion last year. He has a pretty good shot this year of actually being the 2019 World Championship.
6.
I think he's taking his buddy's advice and getting a little more animated. Mike Kump, typically our class clown of axe throwing. But David Saikon's taking the mantle in his absence. We'll get to see a little bit of Mike Kump a little bit later, but for now, someone's got to do it.
Shot number 5, kill shots are live. Saikon up 2.
Players just try to zone everything out and stay focused.
Okay, 5 and 10.
Kump's the opposite. He tries to talk to every single buddy in the room as he's playing. A little bit of a roar on this 5th shot. They both go for the kill.
It's pretty close.
Saikon missed it, and Carter is back in control of this opening match.
Saikon's not out of it yet, but he is going to have to fight to get back up on top.
In your mind, is that a mistake for Saikon to not go for the bullseye?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he was already ahead. He would have been perfectly fine. But, I think, he's gotten a little confident, as you can see.
Number 7.
But, sometimes that might be your downfall.
Carter on the right edge of the bullseye, but still touching the red, so it's good for 6.
3 shots left, 6 points separating us.
Our head judge, Ben McDonald's, on top of it today.
6.
He told me earlier that every time he has a league that he runs in his own facility or that he comes to one of these events, he learns so much each time and just evolves his referee game up to being the reason he's the head judge.
Yeah. And you know what? All the other judges deserve some kudos as well, because throughout the tournament, I've been really impressed with the judges at every lane in the preliminary competition. Now the kill shot. Carter missed it right. Saikon missed it as well. So that means Sam Carter wins the opening match.
Yeah, I'm going to take it. We'll take the practice.
1 practice shot.
Carter trying to replicate his performance from the U.S. Open and emerge as the lone survivor from that A bracket. Of course, in Iowa, Mike Kump came out of the B bracket to beat him twice in the finals.
Yeah, we'll see. It might. He gets a little bit of nerves out there. Seems like they're loosening up a little bit just so they can get ready, get back in the right headspace, and trying to get that pressure off.
These shots count.
Second match about to begin as we check in with Melanie.
know that these two have seen each other multiple times, but the really unique part about the axe throwing community is Saikon actually started hosting these exhibition tournaments before these national WADA tournaments that you're seeing here right now. Now, Sam was a captain in the last exhibition that they just held, and the cool thing about it is it all goes to charity. The last one was the Vert Urban Art Initiative that introduces schools into different art communities that wouldn't normally get a chance to see that. Mario was also another captain in that as well.
The developments around the sport of axe throwing, since it's just in its infancy, and Evan, you're spearheading so much of that development. It's really cool to see week to week, month to month, how things are growing, evolving. And I mean, I think someone asked you earlier in the season, what is the World Axe Throwing League going to look like in 5 years? And you really couldn't answer the question.
We've spoken about what we thought we would see in 5 years when we first founded the World Axe Throwing League, and it's just skyrocketed since then.
Good kill shots for both players. Earns a massive round of applause from a capacity crowd here at Splitting Timber.
The crowd wants to see those perfect games.
One thing I got to give credit for to the axe throwing community. You guys are great at naming things, and you're also great at designing logos. I see so many logos where I'm like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah, that's you know, you might not think it's so diverse, but there's a whole lot you can do with an axe.
3 shots left. We're still tied.
Bullseyes for both Partw and Saikon.
Throw number 9. We're tied at 50.
Carter from North Carolina, David Saikon from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
It's a little, looked a little far to the right on that bullseye, but it's still in. Looks like we're going up. The crowd chants 64 as that is a perfect score, and Carter gets it, and it looks like Saikon missed.
Saikon comes up empty, and Carter's perfect game propels him all the way to the finals.
Carter continues his streak, just like at the U.S. Open, through the A bracket. Let's see if he can stay there.
Take it away, Melanie.
Sam, you said I'm not good at math, but I can try to keep up with counting a little bit. And you know that was a close one for Saikon as well. So when you're watching that go back and forth and just seeing it come down to the narrowest of margins, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. Just going 5th and 10th. Always just got to hit what you got to hit. It comes down to millimeters, you know, he's barely off. I hit mine, but it is what it is. That's how it goes.
Do you ever come out of that sloth-like just okayness when you're competing?
Try not to. It keeps me calm and, you know, smooth. Makes it a little bit easier for me, but, you know, whatever works.
You kept it smooth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. He's known as the adaptive sloth. He said since the U.S. Open, everyone in the axe throwing community keeps buying him sloth stuff. The sloth is headed back to the finals. A look at the bracket. Sam Carter is 6-0, but in this double elimination bracket, there's still work to be done. David Saikon awaits the winner of Straun Riley and Rander Marquez, who are good friends, and they're ready to go head-to-head right now. We get in their warm-up throws in front of a capacity crowd here at the wonderful Splitting Timber Axe Range. 15 grand to the winner. Each of these competitors in the Final Four, Evan, guaranteed money, but obviously there's a pretty significant difference between $500 and $15,000.
With a nice little flourish spin and a successful kill shot for Marquez. He's seeming pretty confident about winning that 15 grand. Probably the most impressive shot of the day.
I mean, there are so many trick shots that we see outside of this serious competition. What's the coolest stuff that you've seen just messing around?
Oh man, I've seen a lot of fun trick shots. I can't say I recommend trying any at home unless you're a professional coach, but with the proper teaching, there's a lot of underhanded throws. I've seen some people kick an axe into the target, things like that, but again, recommend you train up with a professional before you attempt any of that.
Saw some videos where the throwers were holding the blades instead of the handles and throwing the blade, releasing off the blade, sticking in the bullseye.
Yep, on the back of the head, typically. They don't, they're usually good about not putting their hands near where the sharp end is. Usually.
6.
You see they're a little antsy about grabbing those axes, but there is a rule where if you touch your axe before the score is called, then you will get a 0.
Players have to be reminded of that sometimes. For folks out there who are watching this and may be a little concerned about safety, can you talk about how significant the safety regulations are and how seriously all the different branches of the World Axe Throwing League take safety?
Oh, absolutely. So safety is #1 priority in any sport, but let alone one that utilizes a bladed tool. You know, all safety measures are practiced by all the coaches and all the leagues. We actually have very soon a certification program coming out before 2020 for the World Axe Throwing League, and that certification will go into detail on proper safety practices, how to handle an axe safely, and how to teach axe throwing to those you know, young and old, and anybody who's wanting to throw an axe in a fun and safe way.
Riley and Marquez both stand to the bullseye on that 5th shot, eschewing the opportunity to go for the mid-round kill.
Again, after this best of 3, one of these guys is going to go home. Everyone's going to go home with a little bit of money at this point, which is a great thing. But, you know, if you want that title and you want that prize, you're going to play it safe.
We're tied with 3 shots left.
There's something that feels just
number 9.
endlessly routine about the axe rotating into the bullseye, but I can tell you from personal experience, it is not that easy.
Absolutely.
As easy as these players make it look.
These players are the best of the best in the world. Top 6 that we've seen today, they are better than all 12,000 other competitors that have been going through this year.
Going for the kill. Marquez missed it. Riley is good.
0.
So it's Straun Riley who takes the opening match in this best of 3.
Getting a little excited there.
One practice?
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I've been impressed with how loose these two guys have been able to stay under the pressure of the moment.
Even though they are in the B bracket, they've been doing very consistently well. And again, it's one of those things where you want to stay in that good headspace. I think it's honestly partially probably them trying to convince themselves to keep in that proper headspace so they can just keep the good vibe going.
These shots count.
Maybe a little mind games being played with one another there, even though they're close friends. There's a lot of money at stake. Even more than the money, a couple competitors told me more than the money, they want that championship trophy, the axe. They said it's beautiful and it deserves to be thrown. It wants to be thrown. At the moment, it is pristine in its condition.
We're tied at 12.
Both these players, Marquez and Riley, came through the qualifying wild card to make it to the main event.
Still tied, throw number 4.
Here they are battling to be in the top 3.
6.
Winner of this
We're
match
tied, shot number 5.
will face David Saikon.
Are we calling kill
Winner of
shots?
that one will earn the right to
No
battle
kill shots called.
A bracket survivor Sam Carter. Riley uncertain there.
Sweating a little bit
from his brow, thankful that he made it, which he did.
Again, as we mentioned earlier, Straun Riley's technique, he likes to get that top corner of the axe in, the very tip, which, again, might play to his disadvantage. It has before already, but he gets that solid stick every time.
6, Straun.
Foot fault was called for Rander Marquez. And that puts Riley in a golden position to just calmly convert down the stretch here.
Don't think we're going to see too much animated celebrating.
Nice start, baby.
Now that things are heating up. Rander.
6 points separating.
Keep going.
Rander supporting his friend Riley.
Take a look at the football here from Marquez.
Already over the line before he
2 shots
releases
left.
that
6 points
axe.
separating us.
Yeah, not a call that the judge wants to make, but it's the right call.
There you go.
That's always the hard part about being the judge.
6. Final throw. Kill shots are live.
Yeah. Soft. Kill shot.
I think they may be talking about a plan. Good friends, you know. One
Riley
of them
just
might
told
as well
him, said,
take-
look, I need the money. I gotta go for it. And that's gonna do it. There's nothing Marquez can do. An impressive cross target shot, but he missed it. And Straun Riley getting words of support from his friend Rander Marquez after eliminating him from the B bracket. Emotional moments here in Arizona.
It's good. It's
Next game.
Again, so anyone who's been taking a look at our brackets, we now have Straun Riley, David Saikon up next, and then going up against the A bracket champion, Sam Carter.
Back at the World Axe Throwing Championship, we're down to the final 3. And Straun Riley moments ago eliminating Rander Marquez, earning the right to battle with David Saikon, the runner-up at last year's World Championship. Prize money, much like the sport, has exploded.
Saikon on my right.
$15,000. Pretty good weekend for the winner.
We're taking practice.
These two players both guaranteed at least $1,500 right now.
You can only go higher for one of them.
So warm-ups for Saikon and Riley. How do you handicap these two throwers going head-to-head with the certain stakes?
You know, honestly, it seems Riley's had a little bit of difficulty with the kill shots a little bit here today, and it might just be today. But again, we're doing the best of 3 matches. We are still in the B bracket. Each competitor has those 10 throws, and they're going to be throwing every 5. They're allowed to go for the blue for 8 points, and then they will switch lanes. When they switch those targets, then they do another 5, call a kill shot potentially, and move on with a win or a loss.
And this tournament began with 64 competitors that made the bracket. It looked much like a March Madness bracket. And believe it or not, these two met in the second round. So it was a second round matchup. And you don't necessarily think of guys that close to each other in the bracket from a seed standpoint meeting in the final 3. And yet here they are. Saikon beat Straun Riley in the second round. And that meant Riley had to win 6 straight showdowns just to get to the TV broadcast. We'll begin with a bullseye.
So number 2.
And again, he fought in through the wild card competition as well,
right.
So he has been fighting from the literal bottom, although he was one of the top seeds for that wild card.
Old school 4.
As was Rander Marquez.
Third axe. 2 points
4 for
separating
David
us.
Saikon, so Riley with an early 2-point edge.
6.
Think about
So
the
number 4.
experience
2
Saikon
points are
has
separating us.
on this stage under the lights of television, as he knows how to bounce back from a moment like this.
6.
He certainly remembers what happened last year in the World Championship when he was competing in the finals against Benjamin Edgington. Well, Edgington had his first shot of the final bounce off the target in relatively stunning fashion. And yet, Saikon had a miscalculation on the arithmetic late, which cost him the World Championship.
Yep, cost him that championship title, but he may be winning it here today. With all that experience he has coming for all these competitions, I think that might give him the edge he needs.
still
Decided
tied.
to play it
4
safe,
shots
not
left.
going for kill shots. We have 4 left.
6.
Saikon feeling a little bit more comfortable under the
Throw number
cameras,
8.
but again, he has that more experience than most anyone so far in the axe throwing community.
6. Throw number 9. We're tied at 46.
It's almost like he's been coached up by his teammate Mike Kump. These two guys practice together a lot, compete against each other. When David Saikon beat Mike Kump in the finals of the Canadian Open, Saikon said that Kump was happier that Saikon won than Saikon was that Saikon won. Going for the kill. It's close for Riley. Looks good. And Saikon was a skosh to the right.
0, 8.
So Riley takes the opening match, and Saikon will have to come from behind. Of course, we've seen crazy comebacks in World Championships before. A year ago in Chicago, David Saikon meeting Benjamin Edgington in the finals. And I mean, this was an incredible battle between these two great throwers.
It was a clash of the titans, but in the end, it was just a simple matter of arithmetic and not understanding that David Saikon was 6 points up, and he did not need to go for that kill shot. He did and missed, which cost him the World Championship title. Hopefully, he'll take that title this year.
Edgington knocked out before the final 6 here at this year's World Championship. He had some intense matchups. Battled John Bradley to a sudden death showdown. Some of the other great throwers in the sport who have been shown on TV in the past, realizing that there are new elite throwers in town.
We've seen a lot of new faces this tournament, especially with our wild card qualifiers. Again, you know, that the reason we have that there is to kind of fill in of the last few spots and get people who want to compete on the world axe throwing league level, but don't necessarily have that opportunity to, so they can fly in a little bit before the tournament and test their mettle against the best of the best and earn a spot in the championship, which is exactly what Riley did.
6. Still tied. Shot number 5. Kill shots are live. No kill shots called.
No kill shots called. 5th throw of the round. Both players deliver the bull as we check in with Melanie.
6.
Guys just mentioned the last time that Saikon was in the World Championships and that whole up 6, up 4 debacle. If you look at his axe when it hits the targets today, it actually says up 6 on the side. That's a reminder from last year's World Championship. But also remember the Canadian Open too was an emotional moment for him there when he had just lost his grandmother before that. So it's been a full year for Saikon when it comes to his axe throwing.
Halifax, Nova Scotia experience, an emotional roller coaster for David Saikon.
We're still tied. 3 shots
But
left.
at the end of that tournament, he earned his spot to be here today.
6.
For the opportunity, one of the final 3 competitors. David Saikon, Straun,
We're tied on throw number 9.
Carter is standing by off to our left wearing his adaptive sloth headwear.
6.
We're tied. Kill shots live. Both players gunning for the kill. Riley and Saikon. One missed, one hit, which means this showdown will go to a 3rd match.
We're taking practice.
Taking that practice throw at this point. It all comes down to a smidge. That's all it's going to take to determine who's going to progress through this tournament. Luckily, at this point, all of them are taking home a little bit of prize money, which is great, but you know, the more the merrier, right?
Has the axe throwing community decided on an exact definition for a smidge versus a skosh?
I don't think so yet.
Which is smaller, a smidge or a skosh?
I'd probably say a smidge. I think I'd go with a smidge being slightly smaller than a skosh.
Okay. 6.
Number 6-6 for Straun, Riley, and David Saikon.
Yeah. 6-6.
There is a legit moment of suspense
Still tied.
when it's
Throw number
close,
4.
and the viewers, both on television and here at Splitting Timber, aren't entirely sure. Was that good? Is that a 4 or a 6?
6. Still tied. Shot number 5.
Welcome to edge of your seat, especially in person.
No
for
kill
those who
shots called.
are accustomed to axe throwing, and it's those little smidges we talked about that can make or break
6.
not just a throw,
We're tied.
but a whole match. All it takes is one bad throw to throw someone out of their own head space and get them to, shake it up too much. But it looks like these guys are staying consistent.
6. We're tied at 36.
Do you think Sam Carter cares who emerges from this? You think he has a preference?
I don't think so. I mean, at this point, especially this high up,
4,
every single competitor
6.
I've spoken to this weekend alone, every
Three
one of them has
shots
said that they're just
left.
terrified of everybody
2.
else and don't know how they got here. Because just the amount of quality throwers we've had all weekend, it's
6.
been anybody's game since we started yesterday.
There is an element
2
of
shots left.
disbelief
2
in
points
each of the
separating
competitors
us.
who have made it to this stage, knowing who they've gone through to get here. Each player was close. Saikon says he got it. Did Riley get it too?
Sorry. I thought you already scored that one. Get out of the way. That one's obvious.
6.
They're both good.
They're both sweating a little bit there.
Now they get the drama.
Call the ball. Go. Saikon calls kill shot.
Riley sticking with the bullseye.
They both make it. They'll be tied. But Riley and Saikon will go to sudden death.
Just by that smidge, it all comes down to a kill shot. Sudden death.
It all comes down to the sudden death throw. Riley looks good. Saikon on the blue.
Riley just underneath. He over-rotated again.
He missed it.
Over-rotated. We've commented on it before. His throw just over-rotated to go right underneath that kill shot. Lost him his match. He's going home with some prize money, but Saikon moves forward.
Right on line, but the over-rotation cost him, which means Saikon and Carter will meet in the finals. What a battle. Riley will settle for third place. We don't just have the singles final ahead, we've got the Duels championship ahead. A brand new flavor of axe throwing on the way as we go to Melanie.
Those kill shots have killed you before. I mean, you see the up 6 every time that it hits the target. So to call it then and to just kind of have to wait and see, do you get flashbacks from last year at all?
Oh no, you don't think about the past. If anything, the past just motivates me, and just knowing I made a huge mistake in the past, and everyone's been making fun of me for a year, and nothing I do can be worse than that. So if I miss a shot, throwing a normal throw, like what's to worry about?
Okay, so we've seen a little more theatrics than we have at the last couple of opens. Has Mike Kump been giving you some moves? Where is all this coming from?
Well, so I felt bad because everyone loves Mike Kump, and unfortunately he threw really, really bad yesterday, so he wasn't able to make it on ESPN. So I figured someone has to be like the character in the face, and I can't do as good of a job as Kump, but I can at least kind of try. And luckily, him and Will were able to do it for Duels, and I know they're coming up, and I'm looking forward to that match. That one's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, guys, like you just said, Saikon's basically opened it up. We've got Duels next, and you're not going to get rid of Mike Kump just yet. Congratulations, though. You live to see another one.
Thank you.
Yeah, heck of a promo from David Saikon. Sam Carter and David Saikon in a little bit for the World Championship, but first, the enigmatic Mike Kump returns to the throwing lanes in the World Championship. Duels coming up next. The World Axe Throwing Championship presented by Signarama. Getting ready to crescendo here in Tucson, Arizona. The Splitting Timber Axe Range has been a phenomenal host throughout the weekend. And after singles competition, we transition to the Duels battle. Evan Walters, what do we need to know?
The Duels is a brand new play style involving teams of 2 throwers throwing at the exact same time at the target. Each axe counts for points, so if both hit the bullseye, we'll get 12 points. But that's pretty much the main thing, is just every axe counts.
For a little more about these 4 competitors, let's go to Melanie.
Well, we've joked, guys, how David Saikon was so excited to see Mike Kump. So he kind of set it up for us already. You are going to see Mike Kump here in the Duels. This is the first time that they're going to be televised and be a part of this World Championship here on ESPN. So they're all really excited about it. But Mike Kump will be partnered with Will Delatco. And then you've got Rander Marquez, who you just saw in the singles, and he'll be with Julio Romero. And the funny thing about it is they often joke that Julio Romero and Saikon are twins. So we're seeing a little bit of that carry over. But this is a set of 4 very high-energy guys. So you were missing the dancing, those animated movements between throws. You'll probably see it here because they actually have coordinated dances based on what they score.
They've been up all night preparing their dances for national television, and we'll see what they can do.
It may not be a line dance, but they've definitely seen them this weekend.
When you're throwing with a partner, what is the typical strategy?
Typically, usually a player will favor one side over the other, and so usually they'll stick to their side and kind of go almost diagonal into the bullseye. Normally in a single player match, you're just going straight ahead of you, throwing that axe as straightforward as possible to hit that bullseye. But since you have that player right next to you, you actually have to angle your throw a bit, which could knock it right out, just as we saw.
The axe needs to stick to create points. Occasionally, one axe will stick to another, and there's been a rule change recently. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. We have what we lovingly call that a Robin Hood, and that's when one axe gets embedded into the other axe. It keeps the points of the axe in the wood.
It is over.
So if Team Basura wins, then they win the championship and they get their prizes.
Team Basura, Marquez, and Romero. Twice the work for our judge. 10 points for Kump and Glatko, 12 points for Marquez and Romero on the opening shot. This is not best of 3 matches. This is just one match.
So number 2.
Winner takes all, unless obviously Kump Glatko coming from the B bracket to win twice.
Hey, Kump, remember when you were good?
10 points apiece on the second throw.
I want you to sign this.
For these throwers, is it significantly harder?
Throw number 3.
You know that there's
2 points are separating us.
The same target.
A lot of these players will practice together fairly frequently, so it's not terribly difficult to kind of get in the same vibe. You have to be very in sync with each other because you do have to throw simultaneously.
Give it to us. It's good. It's 10, 12.
It's now a 4-point lead for Marquez and Romero.
One strategy I've seen a lot is if someone's particularly good at hitting the bullseye, they'll just consistently go for those bullseyes, and the other player will go for 4s. But at this high level, at the very end of this competition, you have to go for bullseyes almost all the time.
12, 8.
And just like that, we're tied through 4 throws. Marquez and Romero.
This is your 5th axe. Kill shots are live. We're tied. Are we calling kill shots? Kill shots!
Team Basura, Marquez and Romero going for kill shots.
All or nothing. They both went for the same one.
An alpha move showing off to see if they can both hit that kill shot.
12, 8.
Only one made it in.
Wow. You see the skosh between the axe and that blue dot.
Team Uncle Kump is up 4 points.
Wow. Both of them landing almost simultaneously.
These players are in sync and a little confident, maybe a little overconfident. We'll see here soon.
12, 10.
All right, 12 to 10.
The prize money for Duels isn't quite the same
62.
as for the singles, but still the $1,500 to the first place team, $500 to the second place team.
So either way, all these guys are going home with a little bit of prize money, which is nice.
10, 12.
But this is a new competition we've just started this year.
4
has been
points separating us,
extremely
3
popular
shots
as a
left.
new style of difficult axe throwing. Normally when people go for the kill shots, they don't typically go for the exact same kill shot. They usually play it safe going for each individual one. But
that was bold almost to the point of recklessness.
12.
Oh, yes.
Double bullseyes for both sides there, but still a 4-point difference with 2 shots remaining.
4
Since
points
each
separating
axe
us.
counts, 4 points is not as detriment as it would be in a normal individuals match.
This is again for Marquez and Romero.
12.
12 points for Kump and Galacco.
This is our final shot. Kill shots are live.
8-point differential between the two teams. At the end of this final throw. Remember, if Kump and Galacco win, they'll play again.
Down
They need
8.
to beat Marquez and Romero
We're calling
twice.
kill shots, Team Basura.
All right, they're Galacco and Kump are playing it safe with the bullseyes. And it seems like Marquez and Romero have to go for that kill shot. I'd be surprised if they decide to go for the same one again. And they both drop and they laugh it off.
We will go to one more winner-take-all match in this duel competition. The first ever held at the World Championships.
Like 2 more feet. Stay on your sides. One practice if you want it. We're taking practice. We're taking practice.
The World Axe Throwing Championships with the first ever duel competition. 4 axes flying through the air at the same exact time. Again, a review of the rules for duels.
The duels competition is brand new this year, and it's teams of 2 throwing simultaneously at the axe board. One thing to keep in mind is that each axe counts for points, but other than that, it's fairly standard play in the World Axe Throwing League. Each team throws at the same time. All participants have to throw before scoring, and each axe scores individually.
Marquez and Romero, Kump and Galacco, good-looking shots all the way around.
12.
And 12 points apiece on the opening throw. Still to come, the singles championship. Sam Partw versus David Saikon battling for $15,000.
Looks like Saikon was a little too far to the right.
Kump.
12.
Oh, you're right.
10.
They're so animated now, I can't even tell who's who.
2 peas in a pod.
That's right.
Team Basura
Team Basura, Marquez and Romero up a couple.
It's one nice thing about the duels competition is normally a 4, 6-point difference, something like that, in the normal individual play is detriment at this high of a level. But because we score each individual axe, it's not quite as detriment as it would be.
Yeah, you can see deficits overcome in
So
duels,
number
especially
4,
with a double kill
2
shot.
points are separating
if you
us.
make the bold choice to go for it.
The hard part is getting that sync together, staying together and
10,
throwing at the same time,
12.
not knocking your opponent or your teammate's axe out of the way, which has been
Shot
done
number
before.
5. We're tied. Kill shots are live.
Both sides going for kills. Can all 4 connect? Take a close look. Team Basura, Marquez and Romero missed them both. And it was Galacco who connected with the blue dot to give Kump and Galacco, Uncle Kump as they are called, an 8-point lead.
Team Uncle
midway
Kump
through
is
this
up 8
championship
points.
round.
4 kill shots thrown, 1 made it.
We're so good. We're so good.
Now let's switch partners.
10. 10
for each. There's a different
Throw number 7.
intensity or lack thereof to this event compared to the singles.
Yeah, I think, maybe the slightly smaller prize money might have something to do with it. Not quite a championship title, but I think a bit of a team camaraderie.
3 shots left, 8 points separating us.
Four good goals right there.
12.
See the right side of your screen, David Saikon. Looks like he's just relaxed reading the newspaper over there.
He's just, probably trying to relax a little bit, getting ready for his next bouts here.
Let's go.
8 points is the difference down the stretch.
10.
Now there's a 10-point difference going into this last shot.
Final throw, kill shots.
Kump and Galacto just go for the Bulls. They can win this pretty easily, you think.
That's true. But everyone seems to be going with a kill shot.
They're choosing to go for the kill.
I don't think either one made it.
So now 2 successful kills would win it.
Oh, it's very close.
I think they're at best 1 of 2. Oh, goodness. It's Team Uncle Kump that survives and wins Duels by 2. David Saikon trying to crash the celebration. We'll see him going for the celebration in the singles competition in a little bit. Can't have an axe throwing competition without the quirky Mike Kump. So that's it for Duels. A unique twist to the axe throwing world. Sam Gardner, the adaptive sloth, getting ready. The World Championship coming up from Tucson after this short break. The World Axe Throwing Championships have been building to this moment, and it is Sam Carter and David Saikon, the runner-up from this year's U.S. Open and the runner-up from last year's World Championships. One of these players will again be the runner-up, and the other will become a champion. As we review the scoring, 4 points to 1 point in the outer rings. Don't really have to worry about 1, 2, and 3 with these guys, and obviously the kills available on the 5th and the 10th throws. It'll be interesting to see how ambitious these 2 throwers are. Do they take the chance? The loser of this match will receive $3,000. The winner will receive 5 times that much. $15,000 on the line for the winner. We met them earlier, but let's meet them again. David Saikon and Sam Carter.
My name's David Saikon. I'm 29 years old from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And when I'm not axe throwing, I like to do photography and study positive psychology and mindfulness. There's really only one top favorite moment, and that has to be winning the Canadian Open earlier this year, not just because it was my only major axe tournament win, but it also got to be against someone who I consider one of my best friends.
I'm 29, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I throw axes for a living, I work at a venue, and I manage one. I guess my favorite moment so far would have to be the first time I was on ESPN. It was just a crazy moment. My first time being in a waddle tournament, did really well. Thankfully I'm here now. Hopefully I can continue going on for the rest of the time.
They're both 29 years old, and they're both potentially 20 throws away from a world championship.
Are playing it again. When you're ready, these shots.
McDonald reminding everybody that Sam Carter coming through the A bracket. If he wins this match, he will be the champion. David Saikon needs to beat Carter in 2 consecutive showdowns, both best of 3. How do you handicap this showdown between these two?
This is going to be a hard one. Honestly, they've been super consistent. Sam Carter's first big tournament was at the U.S. Open, where he took the runner-up then. David Saikon, the Canadian Open champion, and he's been consistently in the top 5 of most of our major tournaments.
Yeah, shaky start here from Saikon, back-to-back 4s. And that's got to be the pressure of the moment. I mean, as much as these guys like to say it doesn't impact them, I think it's impossible.
This is shot number
that
4.
Thought lingering in the back of your mind.
Honestly, I don't even think it's about the prize money or anything either. I think it's just the weight of trying to gain that title of the world axe throwing champion. They both go up on kill. Sam Carter ahead a good bit. Doesn't necessarily need to go kills, but decides to anyway.
And Sam Carter delivers the 8. They're battling for that delivering axe.
So far, right?
12-point differential halfway through.
Don't touch it. 6.
Like it's gonna matter in this round.
Sounds like Saikon's already admitting defeat, but with that point spread, I can't say that'll blame him. That's okay. It's best of 3, so he can fight his way back up.
6.
See if he can refresh his mind. That's even more important than refreshing the scoreboard at this point.
Yeah, it seems he's in his head a little bit. He's getting there, but looks like he's trying to shake it off.
Carter,
number 9.
grew up in Raleigh, now lives in Winston-Salem, the college at UNC Charlotte. Saikon,
6.
2013 graduate of Penn State University.
Game is at a break. Kill shots are called.
His shots are called, but this is not going to make a difference. Carter's going to win this first game. That's a perfect game for Sam Carter. The nerves are not getting to Sam, it seems.
It is a seriously strong start for Sam. Taking that practice throw now just to kind of, hopefully you can hear the weight of the breath.
Chatting with Sam Carter earlier today, and it was several hours after he had gotten out of bed, presumably. He kind of has this slow rhythm to his voice, saying, and I said, it seems like you want to go to sleep. And he said, always. And that's his adaptive sloth style.
This is game number 2. These shots now count.
Saikon accidentally threw an extra practice throw. He's getting way too in the zone. You know, he might, if he doesn't get out of it, I think getting to that clear headspace, he might have a repeat of last year, being the runner-up world champion 2 years in a row.
Throw number 2.
Carter just seems like a rock right now.
Yeah, he's in the zone. And Saikon's chuckling, but I have a feeling he's getting worried.
Sam's just always beating it.
6.
The familiar 6-6 from the head judge, Ben McDonald. Saikon's going to need one heck of a comeback here. He's tied in this match, but trailing 1-0.
6.
He comes back to beat Carter 2 out of 3 here. He'd have to do it again 2 out of 3. They're both going for the kill. Carter stayed perfect. Yes. Saikon hits it too.
Carter, unshakable.
We're tied at 38.
Perfect scores through 6 throws in this particular match.
Perfect score being 64 out of 10 throws.
6.
And so far, we're headed that direction.
I don't like this bullseye. That bullseye's smaller than the other. That's obvious. 6.
There's a little far to the right on that bullseye, but still in. 2 more throws. Perfect game so far for both.
And it continues. Been virtually perfect throughout this entire tournament. And he's just been grooving through. If Carter makes this and Saikon misses, Sam Carter will be the new world champion. And that is exactly what happened. Sam Carter, the adaptive sloth, is your 2019 world axe throwing champion.
The axes have been flying all day. They continue to do so. Sam Carter, runner-up of the U.S. Open champion,
your new 2019 World Axe Throwing Champion.
You got to be happy for this kid. It seems like everybody in the community really likes him. He's low-key, focused, and he gets the job done on the grand stage today. And he will be carried out of the splitting timber axe range as the king of the axe throwing world. We'll chat with the champ when we return to Tucson after this short break. The world of axe throwing belongs to Sam Carter, completely undeterred by the magnitude of the moment here at the Splitting Timber Axe Range in Tucson. Melanie Newman standing by with Sam.
Sam, a runner-up, no more. You said, I'm just glad that I didn't have to come in second again. But I mean, do you let yourself have any emotion after you finally realized that you took it home?
I did. I just try to keep it in the moment, but I'm over the world. I'm ecstatic. I literally don't know what to do. Never been in this position. Definitely never been on ESPN or TV doing this kind of thing. I won something by myself. It wasn't a team thing. I did it. I had many teammates technically that we didn't throw together, but we practiced together. Preston Shaw, Corbin Decker, Nicholas P. Nick Portuondo is my boy. I hated taking him out, but we practice together. This is what we do. We make all the targets smaller as possible, try to hit them. Make it like ants.
Well, you hit all of those ant-like targets, so congratulations on that. And I know you guys are so close with David Saikon, but now it's time for us to introduce Mario Zelaya with that winner's check for you. Congratulations.
On behalf of WATL and Signarama, we want to present to you this check for $15,000. Congratulations, Sam. You're such an inspiration. I've tried mirroring and mimicking Sam's throws. He's the only one that can do it. He's such a talented thrower. He's been practicing on kill shots the size of M&Ms. And it's no surprise that he just did such a phenomenal job and just went right through the A bracket, the most difficult tournament we've ever had. Sam, congratulations.
All right, guys, M&Ms and ants. He's got the winning check.
Remarkable stuff from Sam Carter, and you talk about making the target smaller. Well, a big target has emerged on his back for the 2020 season. He's the guy that everybody, Evan, will be gunning for.
That's right. Everyone's going to have to start practicing on ants and getting their sloth-like attitude in check to take out the world champion next year.
WorldAxeThrowingLeague.com. Learn more, find a place to throw near you, and who knows, you may be on this stage in the years ahead. But for now, we say so long. For Evan Walters, the commissioner of the World Axe Throwing League, and Melanie Newman and our entire crew, Evan Lepler saying so long from Tucson. Sam Carter is your new world champion.